It's on there. So I can't curse, right? No cursing. I can curse? Okay. It's right here.
So should I say the Dallas Police Department will respond within 10 business days, or? But this is on the police website, correct? Jeremy, this is on our website?
Adam?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
I think Lieutenant Nobles had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Okay, police records request. So this is the police side of it, correct?
Yes,
So then on
that's correct.
the third sentence, it says, it should say the Dallas Police Department will respond within 10 business days?
I'm sorry, Lieutenant, I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Was that,
The third paragraph where it says the city.
Dallas Police Department?
Uh-huh.
Okay. No problem, I can change that.
Did you get the email I forwarded to you this morning?
I did, and that was the portal restrictions and disclaimers. Wanted to get your take on that as well. So the way that I entered it in is I took the form and I converted it into a nice clean PDF and uploaded it to our servers. So it's physically almost a download for our users to see all this information. Now I can do it this way. If you want, I can copy and paste the actual text from the Word file and place it right here. But at that point, it's going to get, the form itself will get a little bit wordy.
Right.
So I just want us to be kind of cognizant of that. That's why usually in cases like this, my best practices is usually just having a link and making sure that it's easily visible and whatnot. But obviously, it's going to be, it's your call as to how you want to present that information.
Okay. So can we put a box there so they have to check it before going on, so they will review that?
I can put a box down below this
Right. Okay.
saying I understand the disclaimers and whatnot, and I can make that a mandatory box that they have to click on, and they won't be able to submit a request without it.
Thank you.
Similar to what we're doing over here at the very bottom here.
Okay, thank you. That'll work. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
That's my paper.
Oh, yeah, I know. I told. She said.
Okay. And you'll notice on the site right now, just from our new release.
Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second, Adam. What you say?
Oh, sure.
In your pretty hand too. Does she need to scoot back a little bit? Can you scoot back just a little bit?
Look, y'all gonna make me make rabbit or something. Okay.
I got that on video.
Okay, can
It's on
you see
video.
it? Can you see that? Am I good here?
It's on video. You doing the rabbit.
Because I keep telling me. I'm good now?
Yes.
Okay.
You can put your papers on the table. Right?
My cane too?
No, it's your papers on the table.
Oh, I'm good. I'm just messing with it. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No problem. No problem. Real quick, you'll notice this information. Looks like from our new release, my devs, they open up some of my HTML code. This is going to get hidden away.
Okay.
But yeah, so you'll see this. This is not supposed to be there. We're well aware of it. It's going to get fixed up pretty shortly. Just HTML stuff that I injected in that's supposed to be all hidden away and looking nice and whatnot. So you'll see down a few of those. But in any case, the rest of this, of the actual public-facing page, I mean, that was pretty much it. The rest of the modifications that I made were all on the administrative side of things, as far as PD routing and whatnot. And so that's all been taken care of. Let me go and switch gears and go to that side of things real quick. Okay, and so right now we are inside of my my test profile, and we're looking at all PD requests. And let's take a look at this new one that was submitted by Barbara. Okay, and so this is most likely going to be a pretty accurate representation of what our citizens will be looking for. And ideally, they'll be putting in, extra helper text and whatnot for us to be able to, figure out what we need to get them for context and whatnot. But the idea is that this gets routed to the appropriate open records distro list
And that's done.
listed here.
And that's done where? How is that done? Over there on the right?
Yeah, as far as the initial routing for PD requests, yeah, that's done on the right. And so this is what I have it defaulted to.
Okay.
Okay, and so everyone on this distro list is going to get an email notification saying that there's a new police records request that's been submitted. Here's the link. Can you please action this? And then this way, at this point, whomever wants to actually action it, they can either leave it as the open records distro list, or they can reassign it to themselves if they want. So totally up to you as far as how you want to do that. No matter what, as long as you're logged in with your own specific staff profile, all changes will be timestamped and logged anyways. So honestly, at that point, it doesn't matter too much as far as who gets assigned this ticket, because for PD, because we have so much routing in place, a lot of this is actually going to go back into this section right here, into this email distribution listing that I have, and this is of course internal only.
So DPD is going to look up at the information up, scroll up.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to look at, scroll down on what was requested, right?
Yep, the request details, we're going to look at all the appropriate information. This is going to be our context from our citizens.
Okay.
We're going to figure out what it is that we need to do, what it is we need to present. And in addition, we need to figure out basically what team or department do we need to help us out.
Okay.
And that's where these come in.
Okay.
And so if we need multiple departments, we can certainly do that. And I have it set up so
You can see
for
it.
every one of these that's checked and we click save, an activity is generated. An activity is a subtask that the individuals on this distro list for each specific department are going to get that email specifying that they basically have work to do. And then inside of that email, the diligence form that we had, I have a link to that as well inside of each one of those emails. So what they do is they complete their own specific subtask, whether that's attaching a file to this individual request. Ideally, they'll attach that diligence form as well, because that sounds like that's part of your standard procedure. So they'll be doing that. And none of that information will be made available to our citizens, of course, unless we make it available to them. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. But yeah, just attaching the file. Let me just go ahead and do that real quick. Pretty standard stuff. And as it stands right now, we've opened this up for the vast majority of Dallas users. And you'll see that when they get attached in, I'll go to the attachments tab here. It's all internal. So this just means that you can only see the information internally. Citizens cannot access this information yet until we make it customer facing like that. Okay, so this is I'm going to use this as a jumping point for redaction to get into that, but let me go back to this real quick. And all of the routing on this has been finalized. Is there any department you think would be okay that we could test this out with? And
Open
confirm?
records unit.
But what about the ones that are not on there?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I tested it out before with myself. I just basically applied myself and made myself the department contact just to confirm routing and whatnot, and it worked. But yeah, right now, whomever these email addresses are tagged to, they would get a notification email saying that a new activity has been generated.
Can y'all let somebody know that y'all want to do we got to do a test?
Okay, we have a question
yes.
now.
I was under the impression that we were just going to add these distribution lists to what you had, not take away from what you had. Because even though these are email distribution lists that we use, there are still some that that are not in an email distribution list that we have to send elsewhere.
Okay. Okay.
What do you mean? Like what?
Like a department or?
This is not everybody we send things to. This is just this is what bureau you're in, this is what bureau you're in.
Right.
But we still have other, like, let's say for instance, Office of Chief of Police, Office of Chief of Staff.
Okay.
Or, this is not everybody.
Okay.
So when we had the drop-down list box with names before that, I thought we were just gonna add the distribution emails in that drop box as well. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So you need.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I understand. Yeah, this is set up, I mean, we took it a step further with the automation itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically the way I have this set up, this is just a mask, basically. It's just a checkbox listing, and these are all triggers, right? So basically, once I click save, I have workflow built in on the back end that if this is triggered, to send out a specific email to a specific individual, in this case, Open Records, SC email, distro list, send that email out and generate an activity for them. If you have additional entities that you want added into this, I'm happy to do that. And then this way, whomever you need to basically create a subtask for, you can certainly do. Now, mind you, again, this is all automated stuff. If we ever wanted to generate an activity manually, we certainly have that ability. We're not limited to the automation. The automation is just to make things easier. So at any given time, I could assign an activity, DPD, test admin, and this is me. Generate a test activity here. Okay, and let me return back to the ticket itself, and I'll show you how things have changed here. So you'll see activities are up here now. This has been populated. And this shows basically a breakdown of the subtasks inside of the ticket. So basically, if 90% of the work was going to be going to these, and then occasionally you'd go and you'd farm the work out to another individual who does have a staff profile inside of the system, we'd do it manually. We can add activity. Now I can add all the automation you want in this. If you want me to add like another distro list or other team names and have information sent out to them, that's definitely doable. But what do you think of that option, is of the manual activity creation on an as-needed basis?
Some memberships that you put all together for the ones that you really mostly use.
The measurements.
But if there's still a location where we can go to and just be, and we're able to click a name as well.
But
it'd be
individual
okay.
names still there? They're still there? Okay.
Y'all have a quite extensive. Adam, can you go, I'm sorry, can you go to the staffing so you can show them? And they'll probably have to clean this up and look at it, because I know there's been changes and people left.
Yeah, the staff list? Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yep, it's in the setup menu, security, staff. And so we have 361 users. I think I cranked your guys' credentials up to 450. If you need more, you let me know.
So
But if you like, I can provide an export of this, and I can send it off to you, and then just make changes to that core user list. You know, like maybe highlight in red whoever you want me to delete, and then add in whoever you want, and maybe highlight them in yellow, and then I'll be able to go ahead and add those individuals in by hand.
Yeah, because I did
Yeah, I think-
hours. It probably took me maybe about 2 hours to update and add.
Who do we want to list? All the lieutenants and all the sergeants?
Oh, if you have an abundance of users that you're going to be adding in, for example, I mean, you could just give those to me, because I have the ability to import. And so,
Well,
yeah, you don't have to do all that stuff by hand if you don't want to. The staff listing on your end is mostly for maintenance. Once we go run phase, basically, if you want to add one user, delete one user, stuff like that, it's supposed to be done in a matter of 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You want to add 50 users?
Well,
Let
we
me know.
had- we had-
I'll go. No, I'll dump them in.
We had departments that I had to add as well.
If that's
Okay.
So as I added the departments, I just added the users.
All the majors on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like you know your way around the system and you took care of that, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I could help with that too, as far as adding departments and basically entering information en masse. Yeah, you don't have to spend your time doing that. That's what you got me for now.
Adam, can you scroll down there to see if you see last name Fight, F-I-T-E?
You're gonna do it right there. If I search.
FICH?
F-I-T as in Tom E.
Oh, FITE?
She's there, okay. And so then if we want to route this to her, we just click on that little circle over to the left?
No, this is the staffing. This
So
is,
then so if I want to route her.
This is where we add and delete staff and whatnot.
well, I was,
And so we wanna route information to, is it Eno?
Lieutenant Nobles. She's going to get an email,
Okay.
okay?
Call. Yes, ma'am. Call her. Wait, hold up.
Yeah, she is going to get
First
an
and foremost.
email.
You wanna do it? You wanna-
Let them warn her so she won't spaz out. They're gonna warn her real quick.
I'm selling this video. I'm selling this video.
Not spaz out, but
Can I pay her the commission
yeah, really.
percent?
Yeah, they just wanted to know what's about to take place.
Probably.
Send her a text.
The big one.
Shoot to me.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll wait that. Okay.
Hey Major, this is Phyllis, over in Open Records. We're getting ready to send a test Open Records request to you. It is just a test, and I'm letting you know it's on its way in about a couple of seconds. Thanks, bye-bye. It's a test, bye-bye. Okay, it's that.
Okay, you can go ahead. This is only a test. This was an actual emergency.
Okay.
Actually, so am I
Yeah, go ahead.
facilitating a test? Do you know?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
what would you like me to do here?
Yes, she wanted to know if she wanted to route something individually
To
to
her.
Eno Fight from the request we
Okay, certainly. And now are we going to be routing an entire request to Eno, or are we going to be routing
Yes.
the subtask, the sub work?
The whole thing goes to Eno Fight.
You got it. And I'm sorry, what department was Eno in?
DPD.
I think we had two for police. We had DPD Open Records, and we had Dallas Police Department.
Yeah, but she gets some
There she is.
anyway.
Okay.
She gets some anyway.
So request is being routed. I'll go ahead and I'll change the status too. We would probably just change it to processing at this point instead of new request. Okay. And the ticket is now in Eno's name.
How did you do that?
Yeah,
We didn't
it
see it
didn't
from this
move.
side. We didn't see that from this side. How did you do that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I paused the screen. Sorry about that. I went into the request itself, picked the appropriate department, picked the appropriate staff member, changed the status from new request into processing, and then I clicked save.
So when you click save, it'll route it to them.
Yeah, basically any changes that you make to the request or the ticket itself is gonna take after you click save.
Okay.
Yeah, before this was routed to the distro list, the Open Records distro list that we have set up. Yeah, so Eno should receive an email notification shortly, specifying she's got a little bit of work to do and that a ticket's been assigned to her. And at that point, that email should have a link at the bottom of it. She'll be able to log in and access this specific request. And then from this interface, she can work the ticket as appropriate.
So Adam, I have a question. So, from what you did on the right side, before you click save, and let's just say hypothetically you wanted to, before you sent it over to that person, attach a heads up message. Could you do that before?
Of course. Yep, absolutely. Basically, we have an internal note system. It works great with these tickets. And again, totally internal. No citizen facing on this one. Test note. You click OK, and then what will happen is the request itself will update. There's a whole notes section at the bottom. So any pertinent information that's internal to the ticket itself, it'll show you the content of that information and also timestamps and logs and whatnot.
And you would need
So
to.
that's part of the training, yeah, that I'll show your end users.
you would need to do that note before you press save to forward it off?
Yeah, you can do it before you press save. You can do it after you press save. As long as that note gets in there, best practice usually dictates before. But sometimes people might forget, so it's not like we lock them out or anything like that. Once they hit save, they'll still be able to add in a note if they need to.
Okay. So I was thinking about email, send it to me, and then attach this as well. That,
Mhm.
they can put it there. Otherwise,
Adam,
Mm-hmm.
can you, go, one, I think I emailed you and asked you to, make sure that, Open Records at Dallas City Hall is only getting notified on ours and not DPD. Did I send that to you?
I
Cause I think that I was,
think you.
at some point
I
I was
think you
getting.
might have.
Okay.
If there's a default, yeah, I think
Okay.
I remember that. I didn't
Yeah.
make that change. I'm happy to right now.
Okay,
Yeah, because that's definitely set up for City Hall and whatnot.
yes.
For DPD, I believe there was a different distro list, right?
Yes, initially when DPD's request comes in, initially when our requests come in, they're gonna go to our group email boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
I have both of them going to this one right now, the Open Records distro list, but which is definitely good for Jerry for your side of things, but Lieutenant Nobles for your side of things.
It's gonna go the same way. You should have an email distribution called group,
Open records.
what's the email address?
Open Records Unit.
Open Records Unit, and I think I saw a staff listing for them as well.
Let me take a look. Yeah, and if there is one, that's no problem. Let me make that modification real quick.
Okay.
Well, these are all the distro lists that I had set up for you. Would it be called, you said there was something called a group inside of the email?
Yeah, try GRP.
Like that? Okay. Does that look right? CRM, doc, open records, open rec.
Well, we'll get you there.
But we have one, cause I emailed it to him and he grouped all of us together, so that he has.
It's in there
It's
some
a-
kind of
where
way.
is it? Can you find the one that's
Okay.
grouped DPD open record personnel together?
Oh, it's called DPD Pro.
Maybe it's DPD, maybe look for DPD open records.
I didn't quite hear that team, sorry. DPD open records. Cause I could, it's not in there right now, I could generate it real quick.
Yeah, you need to generate
if it's-
one.
You know where it is? It's on the alerts. A day 4, it alerts everyone in open records, and that's where that list may be.
Oh, it's on the day 4 alerts? Well, let me take a look.
And
Let
that's
me
the
tell you, I can
list,
reference
and
it
that
that
list
way.
needs to be moved over there.
On, PD alerts?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there it is.
Open record unit. Okay.
What's the space?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it. Alright, let me find that real quick. No, it was called something.
Yeah.
Unit. Oh, I refreshed. Here, let's try it again.
Yeah. There it is.
Okay, Dallas Police Department open records. Okay, let's make that modification right now. All right, we are all set.
All right. So Adam, if you could, and we're not gonna ask any questions. We're just gonna look. Okay.
Okay?
If you could
Sure.
go through from the beginning to the end, and we're gonna use the scenario that, the department attaches something.
Okay.
And I promise you,
Okay.
we're not gonna say anything.
Not a problem. Now, as far as this goes, do you want me to start on the citizen-facing side of things, or do you want me to start directly on the admin side of things where we already received the
Yeah,
ticket?
we've already received it, cause I still have yet, cause we keep asking questions, I have yet to see it from beginning to end,
Okay.
so that's what I need to
Okay.
see.
Not a problem. Well, then in that case, I mean, the first things first is you're going to get an email notification if you're on the appropriate distro list saying that a ticket has been assigned to you. And again, you're going to click on the link inside of that email. If you happen to be in the system, you might see it pop up. Whatnot. So let's go ahead and utilize Barbara's again. And so based on this, we're going to take a look at everything, and let's just pretend that we happen to have all the appropriate information at our disposal. We have the appropriate records that we can attach. Of course, we may need to redact them. But in order to attach a record, or really any file at all, you go to Add, and then File. And this is going to attach that file to this specific ticket. Let's go ahead and do that. And File. Now, from this interface, you can either drag and drop directly from a folder, if you want, or you do it like me. I just pick kind of like I'm picking something and attaching it to an email. And so you could, of course, attach multiple files at a time if you want to. And then when we're all ready to go, we'll just go ahead and click Start. And that's it. What you'll notice is the attachments have grown by 1. Okay, so I literally have 2 attachments associated with this ticket that I physically uploaded myself. Okay, so from this interface, we have a couple options. If this file is good to go, it's fully baked, it doesn't need redaction, and it can be fully released to our citizens. Maybe we'll get a couple of those that are redacted right off the bat. We can go ahead and make that customer facing. Okay, now what would happen is if Barbara happened to be inside of her site, her public facing site, she would actually be able to go in and she would be able to get the file downloaded immediately. Chances are, when you release one of these documents, she's not going to know that you did it, so we'll have to let her know. And we utilize our email notification system with that. And Lieutenant, I received the other, I actually inputted the 3, what we call prepared responses, but I didn't know how to title them, so we're going to have to retitle them, but I just put them in there for now. So let's take a look here. One of them was called Certification of Open Records Request. That was in the subject line. I'm just going to go ahead and punch that in. Okay, so we pick from our
Hello? Hello? Adam?
You still working though?
Adam?
Go to the sound.
Can you send him a message via chat?
Click audio on chat, yeah. I can hear you. He can hear us, we can't hear him.
And
And
So you want what you want.
you
You
can
can-
hear me.
Correct.
exactly.
And see, it still said the city should
Okay,
send it out to
look
police
at our,
department.
look at our, down at the bottom, at the speaker, there's a red, go over. Yeah, touch that and see why it didn't mute itself.
Once you try
Okay.
dialing in, I'm happy to wait.
Okay.
It is something there, right? A little red, something there. Yeah, it looked like it muted itself.
Can you go to unmute it? One more over?
Uh,
Other way.
It's not letting me do anything.
Right there.
That's his screen.
Oh. You gonna say, oh.
So when we done, yes, if you want to dial back in.
taxes count towards the own.
Okay,
Okay. So where did I lose you? As far as the
Right there.
adding a file, did you guys see that?
yes,
Did you hear me talk to it?
yes.
Okay. Great. So our files are currently attached. And just to reiterate, I'm not going to do the redaction for this use case just yet. Okay, but we can go ahead and send a message off to our citizens. This is just an email notification, basically with really saying whatever we want to say. So the prepared responses or the canned responses that I set up for you, and again, we're going to do the certification of open records request. I'm going to retitle these. You'll notice they have what we call merge tags. So this is the current date, date that the request was submitted, the unique reference number, and then the actual content of what they put in as far as what they want in the request. That's going to be all listed here. So it pulls directly from the form and it displays here. And then at any given time,
Okay.
you can modify this just like you would any other email. So if you have any kind of specific or unique information that's not implemented into one of these canned responses, which could happen fairly often. Every one of these requests is a little bit different. You can enter that in.
Okay, so.
Obviously, spell checks and whatnot are in place too. And sorry, I felt like I interrupted. What was the question?
Oh, he said, what was the question?
I can't remember, because he went too
Yeah,
fast.
let's
It was
get back to
three
police.
questions.
About
I
the,
got
the letter itself saying the Dallas Police Department as opposed to the city.
The city receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no problem. I can generate. These are all custom. Right now I have. I basically repurposed both of them, but I can make duplicates and modify the verbiage slightly so it's DPD and city and whatnot. So
Right.
no problem there. Yeah, like in this specific case, I have the DPD address down at the bottom here, and so this is, yeah. Now, as far as all this information goes, like I said, you have a couple different choices you can pick from here. Mind you, if you wanted to add in more prepared responses down the road, I'll show you how to do that during the actual administrative training session, and I'll show you how to add them, how to make modifications to these and whatnot. But really, these are our general responses that we're going to be using a lot. But chances are, on every individual instance, we may have to make some minor modifications and whatnot. And that's where we just go in and make a modification like this. Now, if we go ahead and we hit send here, Barbara's going to go ahead and she's going to get this email notification. At that point, the idea is that she understands the reason why her request cannot be fulfilled or the reason that it can, and it'll have a link down at the bottom of the request to basically access that portion of her citizen-facing page. And if we've released the documentation, at that point she'll be able to download, and we can close it out.
So Adam, the requests are going to start in the status of new?
Yes. Yeah, everything that comes in is going to be new requests. That's the way I have it currently defaulted.
Okay. So.
Okay, and so from here, I've given you a whole gambit of choices. Whatever ones you want to use are totally up to you. Mind you, these are citizen-facing, so they will see the status, the name of the status. So whatever, if you want to make modifications, just keep that in mind.
And is there an email notification attached to the statuses, or it's just, they're just gonna see the status?
I'll show you where they see the status actually. In the email itself, we can display pretty much whatever we want as far as merge tags and things like that. We give the citizens as much information as we want. If I go to, I'm logged in as myself right now underneath my own citizen profile, I would have received an email notification which would have led me, let me re-log in here, let's say I got timed out. It would have led me to this page, and so from here, I could actually take a look at all the requests that I put in. This is the status. This is where it's going to display, and right now this is the only spot that it displays in. So it is minor, they have to look for it, but it is, they can see it. And if something is in progress or completed, basically the request is either open or closed, this is going to change too. This changes from an orange in progress bar to a green completed ribbon. You know, and then as a citizen, I can go in to the actual request itself, and if there's any type of documentation, it'll be down at the very bottom, available for download. So, as a citizen, this is basically how I acquire the open records that I've requested.
How do you send them an invoice to let them know what it's going to cost for their open records request?
Okay, give me 1 second here. Now, as far as the billing system and whatnot, because BOA just integrated it, it's not fully integrated into your production site. I was hoping to actually get that done by the end of the week. So, as far as that goes, the true testing with the invoices and whatnot, that's not all the way in yet. But at any given time, we have the ability to add fees over here. And let's just go with just 1 hour of crime analysis. Okay, and we're gonna go, sorry, add, instead of add, we're gonna go to new message. As far as the invoice goes,
So we need to send you a copy of a cost.
you know what, I don't think I have an invoice, prepared response for you guys.
Okay, so we need to
But
send you a
basically,
cost.
what would happen is it would pull that information down into the invoice itself as an individual line item, and then that would get sent out. So, actually, if you guys have, if you have a copy of one of those,
I'll send it
your
to
invoice that you sent off to
Okay.
somebody, I could probably replicate it and enter it in the system.
For the cost letters.
I didn't see a cost. And we also have an estimate letter, like some of those open records requests cost $2,000, we have one for $7,000. And we're required to send them an estimate letter, so I need to send you a copy of
Yes.
the estimate
I'll take
letter
one of
as
those for
well.
sure, yeah.
Okay,
And I'll label it as such.
And it'll be able to pull in the information that we just filled in on the fees, will it be able to
Populate together.
populate the fee information?
Along with the response.
Now, mind you, well, the fee information we have here, so the estimate letter is actually more of an accurate, I guess, synonym of what it is, because this portion right here doesn't integrate with your billing system.
Okay,
This is basically a calculator that generates information and compiles it into an email. So it is better for actual estimates and whatnot. The actual invoices themselves actually come from BOA.
no, we're talking about, we need to give them an option of, let's say for instance, they're gonna be paying by check or credit card or in person. I mean, by check or in person with cash.
Mhm.
What would we send them that shows all of that information?
As far as that they have the option to pay by check or cash or credit card or whatnot,
Yeah,
we can send that to them we can potentially send that to them in the cost estimate email.
That's it.
We
that's
can
all.
utilize that as notification, yeah, I can just go ahead and put the verbiage in there.
Okay,
okay. So I can send him a cost letter, I can send an estimate letter when I get back.
so, I guess my question is, in those estimate letters, we would have to manually input like DVDs, $3, or can that information be,
Well, I have, as far as what you want to give them, I have it all broken out here into this table that auto calculates. So we have like per DVD copy, listed at $3 here. You'll see it added in. I just entered in the number and I hit tab. It added in the $3. It added in the crime analysis charge. So we're looking at $21.75 right now.
right, so how would we get that
Yeah.
$21.75 response to the requester?
You mean into the prepared response?
Yes,
It's through a merge tag.
okay,
And so if you, and you'll see it, actually what will happen is, it'll be broken out on a line item basis,
okay,
and it'll say, one DVD, $3, crime analysis 1875, and then the total down at the bottom, all broken out. So it's a merge tag that I would generate that pulls directly from this table
Okay,
and then populates inside of the letter itself.
okay, that's what, okay.
That's what we
Yeah, so that's why I just need your verbiage as far as what you want the actual cost estimate letter to say, and then I'll populate all the middle content, which will be the meat and potatoes of what the actual pricing is, or estimated pricing, I should say.
The letters.
That's what I'm saying, that's what our invoice shows.
Joe.
It's broken out, what he's saying, that's our invoice.
I understand that, but it's gonna be through, but he needs it electronically, so it can, once you put that in, it generates the invoice.
So he need us to send, he need us to key in the invoice, and then he gonna generate the letter?
No, he needs you to generate what it says at the top of the bottom of the invoice.
And that's in
And
the
that's gonna
middle.
be in the middle.
So we need
Yeah.
to send him a copy of our current invoice.
Yeah, that's gonna be better, cause that's not gonna work, they don't need to see all of that.
They're not gonna see all that, they're only gonna see what you
That's on our
input.
side.
This is the backside.
Oh, okay.
Can you show
Yeah,
us what
and
it looks like
Just
from
as
the
an FYI,
front end?
when it all comes down to it, as far as the actual, let me go back to this portion of things. Any messages, any correspondence that you'll have with our citizens will be listed below, including the actual, including the invoice summary or the cost estimate letter or whatever it's gonna be called. That's all gonna be listed here, and they're actually gonna have an additional option that says pay invoice from here. And that's where the GovQA and the BOA integration comes into place. So they'll have the ability to see basically what's what as far as pricing goes, and the ability to pay there if they want to pay by CC. And of course, you know, if it's cash or check or whatnot, we'll give you appropriate instructions at the bottom of that cost estimate letter.
Now, what about if they choose to pay online and there's a DVD that's attached to it, how do we resolve that? You have to mail them the DVD?
You can, it has the postage and all that information.
But does the postage automatically generate the amount?
No, you have to tell
You
them how
have
much
to tell them
postage.
how much postage.
You have to tell
Like they
them.
do now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Some of these are variable fields, just so you know, like postage.
generates postage.
They could've been.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be, it could be,
They're only
if it's just an estimate, it might be 0 for now, or we put in our best guess or whatnot, but
Oh,
this is just a manually,
First fee is.
Mhm.
manual entry that we put in here. And so it doesn't even get calculated until the very end because it's, well, basically because it's postage.
Yeah, so postage is manually put in, whatever it is, you have to actually put the actual postage there.
Right.
Okay, I know we're running short on time, Adam, we need to be thinking about,
We lost some time when we were there, we got a few minutes. We lost.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like cost estimate letter is the biggest thing right now, and then maybe truing up and finalizing the routing and whatnot, and how we want to do that. But those are probably the two biggest things we can talk to next time. I mean, I'm available this week if you guys want, otherwise, I mean, I'm still, if anybody wants to hang out right now, I still have time for you, so.
well,
Up
we
to you
need
guys,
to,
I know
we
you-
need
I
to
know you're
look,
very
we
busy
haven't
over
had a
there.
chance to look at ours yet, cause we keep getting, trumped out. So we really wanna ask some questions about ours, but the questions are general, that I guess my question is, if you can go back to, we know we need to provide you with the cost letters, right? So we're gonna get that information to you.
Oh, one question. Let me cut you off, Jerry, I'm sorry, it just popped in. When we assign an open records request and they come back to us, they need to go to the city attorney's office for their review. Is there anything built into the system where we can show that request is not in open records, but it's in our city attorney's office?
Sounds like a form letter. You have a letter?
Let me,
Cause our system now, we just clicked, the day it went to the city attorney's office and the day it was returned from the city attorney's office. Cause sometimes it takes them a while to
okay, so
review things.
so almost
And I
the
don't know if we
status,
start that
would that
escalation
be
process.
accurate as far as the status
Yes,
is sent to city attorney general or waiting for inspection or waiting for
right.
city, or waiting for attorney general's approval? I mean, something like that, would that work, or is it something you're looking for more in depth?
Yes, can you put city attorney's office for one, and then the next one put attorney general's office, cause they're two separate entities. And if
Okay.
Pamela sends it to the
City Attorney and Attorney General, you got it.
Attorney General, then we can go and update it, shows that it's at the Attorney General's office and not in Pamela's office.
Yep. Yep, and again, those are citizen facing, so
Okay.
that is keeping our citizens in the loop, and it's, we can do so with a click of a button.
So, when Pamela sends something to the city attorney, to the Attorney
Attorney
General's
General's
office, does she do the same thing that Heather does
Yes.
and sends them a letter telling
Yes, she
them that's what
does.
she did?
She does. But in the system, it won't know that. And we need to make sure it's in the system, because sometimes they'll keep them 3 or 4 months for review, and then it's gonna escalate on our side. So my next question is, if we assign it to the city attorney's office, will it still be a part of the escalation process?
In short, everything was gonna be a part of the escalation process, but as far as timelines go, I have some flexibility as far as what I can do with those. So, right now I don't have any of the rules built in for AG, but it's not an uncommon thing in Texas, where basically if it goes over to, gets on over to either the city attorney or the attorney general, I can pause the clock, indefinitely until they send it back to us.
Yes.
And then when we do a status change, maybe instead of sent to city clerk or attorney general, we change it to in processing again, something like that.
Right.
The
That's
clock
what we
starts
need.
again. Either it restarts or it continues on.
Because if we don't, in 7 days, it's gonna escalate to Chief Brown,
Right,
and it's gonna be in Pamela's office.
Right, that's what he's
Right,
saying,
right,
change the
mhm,
status,
right.
he can either, he can
Pause it.
pause the clock, but I would be more with
Stopping it.
stopping it.
Yeah, well,
if
it's
you
paused,
say-
yeah, we don't, I mean, that's the same thing on our end, basically, what it would be is it would be
Right.
paused, and then it would be reset when we unpause it. So,
Yes.
same thing in principle, but yeah,
Yes.
I
That's
get
what
what
we
you're saying,
need.
I've done that before for a
Yes.
couple places,
I was gonna
so,
say,
not a big
since
deal
you-
to do that.
Since you've already done, like Fort Worth and San Antonio, you probably know
Yep.
how they got around.
Fort Worth, Antonio,
The same
Anna,
problem.
Texas,
So we want the same thing,
Sugarland,
we want the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll know.
So who will be responsible for stopping the clock?
When we change the
Change the
status
Mhm.
to city attorney's office,
Bingo.
or cost estimate sent,
It'll automatically
Stop the clock.
stop the clock.
Yep, this is the trigger,
clarification
so,
letter.
just keep that in mind, make sure you don't do it accidentally, cause then, you'll stop the clock accidentally. Mind you, if the clock is stopped, it'll reflect that over here, basically saying that the clock is paused, so at any given time you can go back and take a look at it and whatnot. But yeah, basically all my triggers are gonna be through here, so as long as you pick the appropriate status, the SLA timers they'll do what I tell them to do.
Okay, so the other thing is, I noticed that on the letters for clarification, now if we select clarification as an option on the status, that notifies.
That's a good clock stopper.
That's a clock stopper, however, doesn't it also, let the requester know when it's been 61 days and it automatically closes it out? I saw a letter to that
well,
effect.
I can definitely have it automatically close out the ticket.
That's one of those automated letter templates.
Would it
Yeah,
send a
that's-
request of notification?
Yeah,
that
this one right
the
here.
request has been closed?
That you guys gave me.
Yeah,
If you don't have a written response within 61 days,
yeah, and
Yeah.
I noticed that there was
so
That one needs to be.
that being said, I can definitely close out the ticket after 61 days.
yeah. That
And
was
is
an
that,
option,
you
that's
guys
a
remember that
letter,
calendar days or business days?
business.
Business.
That's a letter
Business
template as well as, I know we wanna see how to make that, if we choose the, status of clarification or whatever is similar to that, the clock knows to count 61 days. As well as, I noticed there's also a letter in there for, a cost letter. And it indicates it's been 10 business days and you have not responded, and it closes it out as well.
Okay.
And I'll get with you
That's
on
fine.
those particular letters. 'cause
As long as I have a trigger,
Yeah, we
a
have
document,
triggers.
and basically a process, I can build that out for you.
What do y'all think?
I think that's right.
On the, like on
Both
the, I know it's cost
clarification.
letter and clarification.
Right.
We don't even have to worry about it because it's gonna automatically
Automatically
close it out if
Okay.
you haven't heard back from them
Okay. I agree.
in 61 days.
That's
Same
a
with
good
cost
idea.
letters.
That's a good
Mhm.
idea.
Cost letter is 61 days or 10 days?
No, 61.
Co-
No,
clarification,
clarification,
61.
61.
And the estimate is how many business days?
10.
10 business days.
Okay.
So I'll work, you write that down?
So I can pre-build those workflow rules inside of the system. Just send me the notification emails you want me to send out.
They're in the system, I'll just indicate the name of them, cause you have them
Okay.
on in the setup already.
Okay, so we'll be able to see that letter from our side, or do he needs to incorporate that on?
Clarification, I know we got, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And actually, guys, if you could go in, because I know I didn't title these correctly.
Okay.
Like one of them I called just delayed response, kind of based on context. These were the new ones that you provided me. If you want to provide me with the appropriate names for them that you could use, that'll make them easy for you to find.
Okay,
Let me know that too, and then I'll go and
okay.
I'll go and I'll make those changes inside of the system.
When I send the next
like
letter,
a
I'll
finish
write
more
across
title.
the top what it should be. Okay.
Yeah.
I write across the top. When I send the next letters, I write across the top what the letter is, you know, the cost letter, and that's when you can label it into the system.
So Adam, in the setup menu, there's a tab that's called, templates or letters.
Yep, we have requests. We have two tabs here actually. We have letters and prepared responses. So prepared responses is going to be our digital correspondence. So this is all our email stuff.
It's not
And if you go into these are all the ones that I've currently put into the system here.
Okay, go
And
back.
edits, pretty easy to do.
Go back.
Just
It said
put
go back,
that
it said
here.
go back.
Tell them to try, go back again.
Go back one more.
Okay.
Tell them to look up, letters.
Letters, go to letters.
And letters are our physical correspondence. So I put some in
Not there.
right now in HTML format.
Ask them,
It's
there's a place
The way the
for
letters populate,
form letters.
when we actually use them, is a little bit different. That's going to be more of a training thing. But as far as modifications go,
Can you try
same
form
principles apply.
letters?
Adam, there's a place in the setup menu where there are a bunch of different letters.
Form
Like
letters,
3
maybe?
pages of them.
I bet I know what you're talking about. I bet you're talking about email templates.
Yeah.
Let me know if this is it. Right, this stuff?
Yes. So,
Yep.
do we just have to let you know which one of these we want to use?
Well, a lot of these are defaulted. I keep them all in there.
Okay.
Whether we use them or not is up to us. But
Okay.
this is all automatic information that gets sent out to our citizens. So,
So like
this one, for example, the staff waiting for clarification, 61 days.
yes.
This is the internal notification letter, just for Dallas staff.
Okay.
And as you can see, these don't have a lot in them. As far as they just show just a little bit of the content. It's not really a lot of fluff or anything like that. But we do have customer letters or customer email templates as well.
Right.
Like a password change, if a citizen changes their password, here's the requested clarification 61 days letter that we have as a default for our citizens.
Maybe the staff will know.
That they're waiting
We
for
send a
clarification.
clarification to the request.
You send it to
Yeah,
the
but you-
requester, but you need
But maybe you need to let.
Yeah.
you need that department to know if it's
So,
two different.
this is the automatic letter that gets generated after 61 days. And so these could obviously be modified as well. But this is all our automated stuff.
But we don't send it to a department if we send in a
It goes to
clarification
the requester, but if it went to multiple
It
divisions,
didn't go anywhere because we hadn't.
We don't send it, yeah.
Right, we don't.
So these are
We haven't
templates,
implemented it.
he has a bunch of templates in here. We're not saying you have to use every one of them.
But I was just wondering why that clarification letter said assigned staff we sending it to. We don't have a
Maybe-
staff.
the only example I can give you is when I send a clarification and say it's on behalf of water, but Trinity is also on there.
No, that's
I'll
not our
CC.
clarification. Our clarification.
I'm just giving you
goes
an
back to the
example, though.
requester.
Yeah, well, it'll go to the requester, but I also CC those departments so they know that I'm waiting on clarification.
We
Cause
don't
they
send-
may have another part.
We don't have to worry about that because we don't do that.
We don't send it
We
to
don't.
them.
Don't use it. This is, it's 4 pages of letters in here.
Mhm.
So my suggestion is, we look at these and figure out which ones we want to,
Okay.
use,
Mhm.
and it may be tweaked. They can be
Okay.
tweaked, because again, these are all general.
Okay.
So that's my suggestion, cause that's why I saw the ones about the,
61
like, you
days.
know 4-day work and 7
Mhm.
days, you know
Yes.
that one works.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Even the
As
word,
administrators, we'll have access to, obviously, access to all this stuff.
yeah,
So, I mean, if you wanted to make the modifications yourselves, you can certainly do so. All I ask is that you don't mess with too many of these are my merge tags.
mm-mm.
So, but anything around them as far as the additional verbiage and whatnot, yeah, I mean, you guys can go nuts. I mean, you can go and make whatever changes you like to these.
So
You
Adam,
get
so
full
for
access,
instance,
that's what the admin credentials are for.
so, Adam, for instance, on this letter you have here, if we want to if DPD wants to use this letter, however, we want to, if we want to use this letter, the DPD also wants to use this same letter and make a modification in, let's say, the signature.
Mhm.
Is there an easy way just to copy this letter?
In that case, I'd make a copy of it,
Uh-huh.
because basically what you do
So
is
you
you,
have to redo
every
it.
letter that's put into the system has to be applied somewhere, so I'd make a copy of this letter and I'd apply it where appropriate.
Okay,
And as far as copying these, pretty easy to do. We have this little
duh,
2-page thing here.
duh.
Just click on that, and you physically make a copy of it. You can rename it from here.
Okay. That's
So we
what
would
I
just call this like DPD staff assignment. And it's gonna open up the actual document right off the bat, and then from here you can make modifications and just click save, and then you're good to go. Then at that point you're working off of separate documents.
Okay, all right.
You thought
Yep.
of everything.
And then of course anything that you've made an error, go ahead and click the X to delete. Just do me a favor, don't delete any of the stuff that I put in as a default. I can just kind of deactivate it on the side or something like that. I like to keep stuff on standby in case we need it.
Okay.
This way I don't have to recreate the wheel all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the vast majority of what you're looking for should be in here. It just needs a little bit of tweaking to make it your own.
Gotcha.
Adam,
Adam.
Yes.
can you hear, okay, here's my question, I know you touched on redaction, and,
Uh-huh.
I would like to see an example of redaction and how do you go to, how do you get to, how do you do?
You got
If you don't
it. You got it. Real easy to do. Let's get to. I was gonna get to that too. Now redaction works of course, from this interface. Now we have to make sure. Oops. Next, let me go to our request. We have to make sure that you have a redaction license assigned out to you. So right now, I think I have like 3 assigned out. One to myself, one to Lieutenant Nobles, and then and one to Jerry. Maybe I might have more assigned out, but I definitely don't. I'm definitely not using all of them right now. So, and I just realized that I'm inside of my
We have more.
WebQA admin login. So let me log in with my test user account where my redaction license is assigned to.
And you said we have 20 of those? How many did we get?
How many
Yeah, I believe you're a
redactions?
contractor for 20, and I went in and activated those for you. So it's just a matter of applying to the right people.
I would take mine.
So we have to assign to specific people in ID, traffic, personnel.
Is that who does redaction now? Does it come
No,
back to
we redact
redaction
now.
team?
Our
Let's see.
redaction team does it, but Major Fight wants the divisions that house the information to redact it prior to sending it to Open Records.
Well, yeah,
Oh, wow.
okay. Well, all right.
Okay. So from this interface, the redaction is always going to stem from the attachments themselves. So right off the bat, we're always going to basically upload the file, whether it's redacted or not. We want it to upload it into the system. It's always going to be marked internal by default. Once it's inside of the system, the redaction software that we have integrated with this will know where to look, and it will start the redaction process. So if you just click on the little piece of paper with the red circle around it, next to the appropriate document that you want to redact, we click on that. You'll notice a pop-up comes up. Mind you, if you have a pop-up blocker on, you might have to put this in kind of the safety mode so it lets this through.
You know, we're recording too, if you want to copy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all our redaction software is again, this is our portal restriction and disclaimer document,
Mhm.
and we want to redact it, okay? So you'll notice a bunch of little buttons, and a lot of the stuff's pretty self-evident. You just play around with them. Obviously, a little zoom tool, but we're going to redact this document. Now, when you click on the redact button, you'll notice these little options pop up. And let me go ahead and let me maximize this so we can all see it a little bit better. Scroll up. So right off the bat, actually, let me show you the redact area first. From this little section, you'll notice from our interface that we can still see, if you look closely enough, the actual content of the message and whatnot. This is just for our end. Once we actually publish this document, when we're done redacting it, this is going to be a solid black. All right? Now, if you had specific codes, redaction codes that you wanted to put into this, I could actually integrate those as well. And for every basically little black blob that has information filtered out, I can put a redaction code next to it. So just keep that in mind as well. Right now, I think we just have just one default one, GC 560.003. And then, at any given time, this is more for if you wanted to redact PDFs and things like that, but you can actually move these big black blobs around before you publish. But that's what the select tool is for. You're mostly going to be using this one, redact area. Text works pretty well as well. Let me make sure it's coming through here. Yeah, sometimes it has a little bit of trouble reading files and whatnot. Shouldn't be too hard at this one though. There we go, it read that one. Let's try this. Okay, there we go. So it can find text and whatnot to redact. Allow area, perhaps you redacted a large section of something and you want to unredact it, kind of like a little window. So that works like this, so you'll see one big black blob, and then you'll see this text is available for display. Find and redact, if you're looking for specific keywords, you can do it that way, depending, you know, a social security number, a credit card number, or whatnot. You just punch in whatever that keyword is, and it'll basically redact every instance of that keyword. So kind of how you do a mass redaction of a 100-page document and whatnot. Find and redact from and to. The only real use that I've seen for this is quotations. If you want to redact anything that has quotation marks, I would do it that way. I'd put a quote here and a quote there. Basically, the starting and the beginning of a sentence and any instance of that specific sentence inside of the document, it's going to go ahead and redact for you as well. So another automated redaction tool. Okay, and lastly, you can redact entire pages if you need to. So you just click on that, redact all pages or everything except page 1. You'll have all that too. So this is another one of those tools you just kind of go and play with. But when all is said and done, you just go and you publish it. You publish the PDF. This way, there's no way that our citizens can physically make modification to the document. They can't hack into it and see what was redacted or anything like that. But, okay, so the file was successfully redacted. Now we just need to do a quick refresh on the page. I'm just going to go ahead and switch over from letters, and we're going to go back to attachments here. You'll see there's 3 attachments now.
Original,
Okay. Now the original file that we redacted, that's this one right here. You'll notice this is grayed out. This allows us from physically sending this file out to our citizens. Okay, now at any given time, if we wanted to redact a file again, we could certainly do that and make a modification to it. But we cannot send this out to citizens no matter what right now, because the system's marked it as a redacted file. That means it has priority information in it or something sensitive or classified. Not going out. This is the new one that we have here. Let's take a look at it and see what I did. Let's just save it to my desktop. document 1_R for redacted, standard naming convention. And you see it here. So all the little blobs I did, here was the window, the redaction code. So if you want me to punch in all those codes, we can do that too. That's all available. And at the very end here, we have a summary page that's available for our users too. Usually more helpful when we have an extremely large file that we've been redacting, and legal tends to like pages like this as well. But yeah, that's basically the end result. Now, when we're happy with the end result, make it customer facing, and we're all done.
All right.
Now, what about the reports at the end, like at the beginning of the month? I have to give my boss a report, and I need to know the number of open records requests received that month, the monetary amount that was collected. How do I get to that?
Reporting is all done on this page. Here we are. Yep, reports and views. So instead of the go-to menu. Now, as far as what you're looking for in reporting, we have a lot of options and a lot of customization. So from a standard system report, and again, this is one of those things where you play around with and you find the stuff that works best for you. And if you find that nothing in here truly meets your needs as far as the reporting structure goes, you can let me know and I'll generate something custom for you. But for example, a period summary. Here's a good one. Basically specifies requests that are open and closed during a specific date range. Let's say for this year. I'm gonna go and run it. So what happens is we get a little preview.
Fancy.
How long they've been, basically how long some of these requests have been opened and closed and whatnot.
And then I'm assuming the schedule, we can have it run once a,
Yeah,
how often?
yeah, you can have it run once a month, and you can have the report physically get attached in an email and sent off to anybody you want. And that includes individuals that aren't even on the staff list. So if you have whomever, some higher up or whatnot who's not a part of the system, but they still need this information for whatever reason, you can manually enter in their email address, and an automatic report will get generated on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis, whatever you set, and get sent off to them. You know, here's the data in PDF form. You can choose obviously from PDF. I mean, we have a whole slew of these. I typically use CSV. That's just me. I like the raw files, I like raw data in the Excel spreadsheet. But if you want to, dress it up and make it look nice for whomever, we'll have that ability, of course. And then they'll get this information, in an attachment inside of an email. But again, that's more, that's when we get into the more in depth with the admin training and whatnot. But all this functionality is here for you. And our views work in a very similar fashion. And one of the things we did in our new release is, if you have a specific view like open records requests, basically all the information that's displayed here, we can have it generated into a report, and then if you want, we can schedule that report out and send that off to whomever as well. So it's just one of those things where if you want something custom, just tell me what you're looking for ultimately, and I'll work backwards and I'll build it out for you.
So Adam, I know you said that once you were finished, you were gonna have the how-tos and to-dos and where to go and typed up some kind of way. Will that include the redaction information as well? Or is there somewhere within here that it'll show us to do, or if we need to do this, where to go, or?
Oh, you mean as far as kind of like internal instructions and whatnot?
Correct. Yes.
Like a quick start guide?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I can get that together for you. Redaction I usually don't need time. I'm happy to put something together for you. It's a pretty easy tool. It's just one of those things. If you do it once, I think you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. But I'm happy to for whomever that's not familiar with it, I can get something together for you guys. That's not a problem. Before we go live, I want to make sure that you have all the appropriate documentation so you know how the system works. Otherwise, what's the point?
Okay,
the, admin training typically take?
Depends how in depth you want to get. They usually last from about an hour to 90 minutes. Some have lasted longer. Some I've broken them up into several parts. So it all depends on what you want to get out of it. I tend to cover off on the 4 or 5 main things that my admins utilize the most inside the system. And then from there, that usually takes about 45 minutes, like adding a staff member, how to add a new FAQ, how to basically get into the reporting system, stuff like that. Kind of some of the stuff that we covered off on today. And then I get in depth as far as if you want to know anything specific. Some people, they want to know all about workflow and how workflow works. I'm happy to show you. If you don't care, then there's no reason for us to get into it. You know, so I generally schedule for 90 minutes to be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, I mean, even in these little sessions, if I'm happy to show you guys how to get into certain things, how to use certain things on an as-needed basis too. Because this is all information. This is all supplementary information. So.
Okay, cause like I said, I've been trying to play with it and, figure some of these things out on my own. What I emailed you about yesterday, in particular,
Yeah.
was in the departments on the setup menu. Or was it staff?
Under security.
Yeah.
Here. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. That's what you were referring to as far as additional staff. Okay.
Yes. What's the
I
difference
gotcha.
in assigned staff and additional staff?
So basically, the way the system likes to work is if you're an individual, you have a primary department, but we have options to lock down visibility.
Okay, that's
For
what
example, we can make it so you can't see any request that's not assigned to your specific department.
Okay. What
Okay,
about-
so what we can do is if Daisy needed to see requests inside of business development as well as civil services, but her primary job function was inside business development, what I would do is I'd go to civil services and I'd add her as it's almost as a secondary staff, just for security and visibility purposes.
Okay.
So because we don't have those types of restrictions today, we won't be utilizing that, but it's an option down the road if we ever need it.
Okay. So are you all okay with the way DPDs is set up? Is it set up so only capers will see capers, only the patrol stations see patrol stations? Is that how y'all want it, or
Yeah.
you don't care?
No, I would prefer to only capers can see capers and the patrol can see patrol.
Okay.
On the DPD LPS list, only those people assigned to that area can see their request.
Okay, I mean, Capers doesn't have their own department currently. I'm happy to generate that for you if you like. At least I'm not aware if they do.
It's on that DPD list that we gave him, that list, the 40 list, that DPD forces DPD LP capers.
Right, yeah, no, I have the individual, I created a user profile for them,
Okay, so.
and I listed them under the DPD Open Records department. I can put them in their own specific department if you like, and this way they'll only have visibility to their information.
But each one of those on that list will need their own individual departments.
Okay. Right now it's not. It's their own individual staff members, or their own individual users, but they're listed underneath the Open Records department here.
Okay. So yeah, that list with that DPD LP and then each of those patrol, Southwest Patrol, Northwest, they're only allowed to see only theirs, not everyone else's.
Yeah, what I can do is basically, when they log in, you see this little section here, this is Open Records, Police Records. I'm going to strip all that out, and I'm going to make it so it says, all open requests assigned to my department. They're just going to have this one, basically, as a view.
Okay.
So that's how I limit it for them.
Okay.
But on our side, so how does,
I guess on both sides, there are individuals, once you get to a certain, hold on. Once you get to a certain level, Chief Brown needs access to everything, right? So they will have to also have Chief Brown listed as an additional staff.
That's exactly how I would do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so keep
I
in
thought I had it in there
mind,
already.
you box them out if you just limit them to, that group. Or unless you add, just think about it. Cause that was what we were gonna ask on ours,
Will additional staff get notices?
no, he said additional staff means they can see what's in those different departments.
They can see it.
Yeah, it's with the addition of a whole new security level that I haven't put in for you guys.
Will they get
That's kind of
will they get notifications, or they just have the ability to view?
It would just be the ability to view if I put them in for additional staff.
Okay.
First I remove the visibility for everybody, and then I would start opening it up for individuals. So
Okay.
the assigned staff can see certain things, and then if I wanted to open it up for additional staff, I'd see things. I'd have that set up as well.
Okay.
But yeah, notifications and whatnot, that's a whole different ballgame.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay, so if they can view it and they need to refer it, will they be able to refer as well, or just view only? No referring? Meaning, can they send it to another department if it needs to go to another department?
Let's say we input the request and we send it to business development and procurement, but in fact, it should have gone to financial services.
Mhm.
If,
Once they send it off, they don't have visibility to it anymore.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I mean there is sort of a back way to do it. If they happen to
Don't worry about it.
have the
I'm
link,
not going-
have the link into the ticket, I mean they could sort of do it, but yeah, typically
That's not
once
CRMS in groups.
it's almost like sending a letter in the mail.
So they'll
At
still
that
be
point,
able
it's
send
gone
it
to someone else, and they have to deal with it. I can
Okay.
give them a call and say, hey, can you reassign it to someone else, or send this off to someone else? But I can't physically do anything myself.
Okay,
Okay, that's all.
One question answered the other.
So we'll still have that CRMS type
the
function.
groups,
The groups will.
it's in groups. Anything else?
Yes, is there a way that we could, like, everybody be on a computer at the same time seeing this and hands-on some kind of way while he's talking like this?
Yeah, if you can find somewhere to have that. We have, some training rooms scheduled over here, closer to starting in the middle of the month, like the 16th. Okay, Adam, I think we're about done with you. So we'll get together and see if we can find a time, this week, and I'll let you know. If not, we'll give you a time for next week.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. If you guys want impromptu training, or if you have
Yeah.
questions on the system itself, just let me know. I'm
Okay.
happy to hop on the phone at
Okay.
a moment's notice,
Alrighty,
and we can go through stuff, yeah.
okay. Alright,
All right,
thank you.
thank you, team.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Alright, so,